So I wanted to kick off a new series on the channel where I build out a startup in public. So the plan is, I have a project that I'm going to be starting, I'm going to be building out, and the plan is to release videos every 2-3 weeks or so, just to give updates on how I'm doing and build it in public. I haven't uploaded in a while, but I think this could be kind of a cool series, and it could be interesting to people to see my progress from an idea to an implementation. I know I've been watching a ton of YouTube videos lately where people are doing their own startups and they have their own ideas and they're documenting their journey along the way from taking it just to an idea to a product that they actually sell, and I find it really interesting. So hopefully I can provide some value to people with this series, and hopefully it can be interesting. Recently I've been watching Engineering with James. He just launched a new habit tracker onto the App Store, so shout out to him and motivating me to do this, because it's really interesting to kind of see him taking an idea and actually launching a product. So that's the plan with this series. I'm starting a new project, and I thought, heck it, I might as well document it and show my progress and provide some tips along the way. So if you think that's something that interests you, maybe hit the bell icon. There's going to be follow-up videos on this, and this is just the first episode. So recently I've kind of had a new product idea that I want to run with, and I thought, sure, I may as well document it along the way. So in this video, I just want to run through the idea of what I have to give you an overall understanding of what the idea and the product is. And then, there'll be subsequent videos, maybe every week, every 2 weeks, where I document my progress and share it along the way. So first and foremost, what is the idea? The idea, I think, is a basic one, but it has a lot of possibility to expand. So at the moment, it's an application that allows users to find dog waste disposal bins near them. I don't think it's necessarily a revolutionary idea or a groundbreaking idea, but it's definitely an interesting problem to solve, and it's a problem I've experienced firsthand. So I have a pet dog myself, and there's times when I'm out walking him and he goes for a you-know-what, and then I have to look for a bin nearby. And if I'm in my area, it's okay. I know where all the bins are. I have a rough idea. But if I'm outside my area, I don't really know where the bins are. So I think an application like this could be extremely helpful. And if you have a German Shepherd like me, their poos aren't exactly small. It's not something you just put in your pocket and forget about. They're massive. They're like the size of a basketball, and they just smell horrible. So all I'd be thinking is, where's the nearest bin and how quick can I get there? So I think an application like this would be useful, and it's definitely an interesting problem to solve, and it's the one I'm going to go with. Next, what are the possible features that I could include? So I think most people, when they think of a bin location app, they think of a map which allows users to find bins near them. So there's going to be GPS routes, there's going to be map icons on the map. The users will know how far away a bin is, the closest bin available. And then there could be other things, like users can add bins, we can mark our waste as binned once we put it in the bin, and a bunch of other features. In terms of a basic UI, and just to give people maybe a better idea, I'd say a lot of people, when they think of this application, this already comes to mind. But just a basic map, bins nearby with a user. You'll be able to have GPS routes that take you to the bin. You'll be able to add bins and things like that. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of what the current state of the application is. So next I want to talk about what's the value proposition. What does this application actually offer? I think potentially it could clean up the streets. So if people have an application like this, potentially they might be more inclined to actually bin their waste. Oftentimes I'd be walking, I'm sure many people have, and they see waste that's in a bag, but it's just not in a bin. So if you've went to that bother, surely you would just put it in a bin. But maybe if they had an app like this, they'd be more inclined to find a bin. Who knows? I think if it's executed successfully, it has good potential to benefit the community and attract more users, because I think the value proposition for a community is pretty clear. It has the potential. I think only good things can come from it. Either people use it and don't use it and they carry on the same ways, or they use it and potentially it has some benefits. So I think it could also attract more users because it's community based. You could advertise it in your community. You could you could advertise it to people in your community and show them how good it could be to clean up the streets and things like that. So the value proposition there could be really good. I think additionally as well, once I have a good user base, you could extend it beyond waste disposal. So at the moment, I'm just thinking in terms of a small application that allows users to find bins. But once you have a good user base, then we can start looking at other features that pet owners want, maybe dog booking services for grooming, walks, and things like that. So that's kind of the value proposition. Next, I want to talk about why this idea. Well, I pretty much have no other ideas. I struggle too much trying to think of the perfect idea, and I think it's something myself and a lot of people struggle with. Always looking for the perfect idea, and I think one thing, you're never going to find the next startup idea by looking up startup ideas, best startup ideas 2023. I think it's something you have to be motivated to solve, and I think it's a problem you need to have faced. And this is a problem I've faced. I have a pet dog. I've faced it many times. So yeah, it's not exactly an idea that I'm gonna take to the grave with me, that I'm extremely excited about. I did think about a few months back, and I was like, oh, that might be an interesting problem to solve. And I was like, nah, it's not really that exciting. I'm gonna wait for a better idea. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna run with it, document the series, and see where it goes. So another thing that's cool is, like I said, I'm a potential user, which is interesting. I'll be able to test the application. I have a feeling what users would want, but that could change. But yeah, also, do I think it's something I would even use, is a question that I had to ask myself. I think if I was in my area that I walk my dog, probably not, because I know where all the bins are. But I think if it was an area that I wasn't so familiar with, and I wasn't too sure where the closest bin was, it might be something I'd use. So yeah, but I guess time will tell when the application's built out, and we'll see. So the next thing I want to talk about is, how could this make money? And I think this is a bit of a tricky one. And first of all, I want to say definitely not ads. Well, I know it says down here advertisement on the map, but we'll come to that in a second. Definitely not ads that pop up and get in the way of the user experience. So many times I've used applications, especially at the moment Done Deal, where you're searching for cars or you're looking at products, and in between the functionality of the application, there's a pop-up ad that you accidentally click and it takes you to a different site, and it's so frustrating. So it's something I don't want to add. I don't want to ruin the user experience. It's just not a good time. Possible partnerships with pet brands. So I think that could be an interesting one, if I could partner with pet brands and get them to maybe sponsor the application in different ways. Advertisement on the map. This one is, I'm not too sure if it's even possible, but sort of like, I don't know if anyone watches sports, where you watch a football game and you see a brand which is advertised on the pitch, but it's not actually on the pitch, or even the banners on the side. You can see the ad, but it's not getting in the way of the game. Like sort of like this, you'd have it on the map where users can interact and have different functionality with the map, but it doesn't exactly take away from the application. Maybe something like that could be interesting. There could be a premium feature, so users get a free account and then they can upgrade for premium services, something like that. And then possible expansion of features. So at the moment, I'm thinking in terms of a basic waste disposal location application, but if we got a bunch of users, we could then expand to other services like dog grooming booking and things like that, and you could possibly make monetization changes there and make money off that. So next up, what's the plan going forward? So I want to flesh out the idea a bit more. I have a rough idea of what I want in my head, but I'd like to kind of get a bit messy, jot a lot down on paper, random things that come to mind, and just flesh out the overall idea ahead. Then I want to boil it down to an MVP. So what's the minimal viable product, the least amount of functionality that I need in an application to get in front of the users in order to get feedback on what they want and what they find useful. I have two other things which is marked as with asterisks, because I think they are useful in a startup journey, but it's just something I'm not going to bother with. You could do a survey to see if users actually want this application, if it's something they need, if there's different problems they're facing that maybe you're not aware of. But yeah, I'm not too bothered about this. Even if users don't want it, I'm still going to build it because it's something I find interesting. Same with market research. You should probably do some market research if you're going about a software as a service startup business. Look at what maybe the target audience is. Look at if there's any competitors and things like that. But yeah, I have these marked as asterisks. You probably should do them. However, I'm not really that bothered. I don't think I will. Things might change, but we'll see. Then I'm going to do some mock-up designs on Figma, so I'll probably release a video on that and the whole process going about designing, just to get kind of a rough idea of what I want the application to look like. Once the designs are out, I'll look at building an MVP. I'll look at the tools and technologies that I want to use. What do I want to do, a mobile app? Do I want to do a web app? What will I pick for the database? I'll have a video on all that as well, going through the process on that. And then I'll get the MVP into the user's hands. So once we have an MVP built in about, I'd probably aim for 3 months, but it could be a bit longer depending on how much time I have. It would be beneficial to then get that application into the hands of users, get them using it and see what feedback they have. Is there things we need to change? Is there things we could do better? Is it just all around a bad idea? Yeah, that'll pretty much be it. Then once that's done, I'm not too sure what the next stages are. I'll probably continue development for a while, but I guess we'll probably flesh that out when we get there. So last but not least, thanks for sticking to the end. Let me know if you have any kind of feedback in the comments, if there's any features you'd like to see, if you think it's a good idea, a bad idea. But yeah, just let me know if you have any thoughts. Also, do stay tuned, and there's going to be a couple of videos on this. I think the next one will be me going over the initial designs in Figma, maybe talking about the tools and technologies that I plan to use. And yeah, if this series does interest you, hit subscribe and hit the bell icon just so you don't miss any videos. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.